Shogun Shuren. Risei asked, if Shuren is the most powerful, what is his ability? Zhuo responded, do you know the contract seal that Kanto and the warriors use? Kamikaze and Kanto borrowed it from Shuren. Shuren formed contracts with all 6 samurai. He has full control of all of them. Everyone froze, and Yoshi, panicked, asked, how powerful is he? Zhuo answered, even I don't know. He fought Kamikaze to a draw just recently. But he may not have been using his full power. That's why Kamikaze gathered the warriors. He is going to test them. I don't think they will succeed. You inspired him. Shuren has spent many years submitting lesser Onika, but he has never been this strong. The seals are the key. He saw how much power you gained with seals and copied you. He formed contract seals. With his massive power with 6 Onika on top, he may very well be as strong if not stronger than Kamikaze and Onikage. Kamikaze suggested an alliance with Onikage, but Onikage laughed at him. He must feel like he is still stronger than Shuren. However, I can't be sure. If the warriors could seal Shuren, they will kill you all. If Shuren seals more Onika, especially Kamikaze or Onikage, he alone will be much stronger than Amaterasu. With the 6, he is much stronger. Kamikaze is no fool, yet he can't beat him alone either. Risei looked at Fu, who asked, can you see what your cards say about our battle? With Shuren? Zhuo responded, if I told you, it would not come true. I am not allowed to offer too much assistance. However, I will give you this. He handed a card to Fu. Mari asked what the card did, and Zhuo explained that it would teleport them to Shuren. You may want to come up with a plan before you leave. I hope you are ready. I'll be watching over you. The group spent some time speaking about the best course of action and discussing their strengths and weaknesses compared to the 6. After they came up with the most viable option, they headed to Edo to confront Shuren. A terrible omen. VT had arrived at the forest of Edo. Yoshi asked, do you guys feel that? I can feel their ki. It's heavy. Everyone needs to remember our plan. If anyone lets up, we could all fail. Risei interrupted, he's here. Kanto and his warriors. Ninaji added, Kamikaze is here too. This could be bad. If he attacks us while we fight Shuren. The group ventured forth into the woods. As they got closer, they could hear a battle, then silence. Once they arrived, they were shocked at the sight appearing before them. Reito Ebihara, Yamesa Toda, Shuzen Fujimori, Kenshiro Kazama, Kazuhira Mira, and another unknown warrior lay dead before the 6 samurai. In front of Shuren, Kanto, Himiko, and Motohide lay wounded and defeated. Kamikaze was clashing with Shuren, and Masamune was grinding against Daimyo. Shuren smirked and stomped his foot, and his 6 samurai all swarmed Kamikaze's back, stabbing him in tandem. Motohide had vines wrap around the samurai's legs. Kamikaze limped away and regrouped with the 3 still living warriors. Then, with a look of shame, he glanced at VT. He grabbed Kanto, Himiko and Motohide and flew away, but not before charging a crystal and throwing it to Risei. Sonoto grabbed the crystal and examined it. It seems to be full of his ki. If we find ourselves in a pinch, it could prove useful. I can't believe he offered this. This defeat must really burn. Risei interrupted, if we find ourselves in a pinch? They killed most of the warriors. There is no winning or losing in this battle. It's survival. The stakes have never been higher. I will make them pay for all the humans killed today. Risei immediately went into his ascended trance, but kept gathering ki. Shuren yelled. Calm down. I am willing to offer you a little advantage. Risei stopped powering up. What do you mean? What trickery is this? Shuren snarled. It's no trick. Kamikaze's group charged like you were about to do. It was no fun, and most of them were killed, and I defeated the others effortlessly. So, I offer a tournament. One of yours fights one of mine. If yours loses, I claim their head. If mine fails, I turn them into their weapon form, and if you beat them all, you face me. Yoshi looked at Rise, who looked at Fu. They all exclaimed. We accept. Sonoto, after a quick pondering, stated, Ganda will fight Shernai. Rise will fight Kajiki, Yoshi will fight Mizwa, Fu will fight Uriza, Ninaji will fight Kazan and Kengo will fight Zanji. Mari volunteered to heal after the fights. Shuren clapped, it looks like you already came with a plan. Very well. Let the tournament begin. Udage. Shernai formed a giant stone throne for Shuren. He then formed 6 stone pillars, one for each samurai to stand atop. Kazan and Reijiki began shooting explosives and thunderbolts into the sky. Zanji was shooting fireballs as well. Shernai began carving the ground into a rectangular arena. Rise asked Yoshi, is this some sort of preemptive attack? Sonoto answered for him. They are merely demonstrating their power. They can use divine ki without limitations. We have to bear it. It's just a childish provocation. Rise asked Sino, what's a provocation? Before Sonoto could answer, Ganda yelled, you think you so strong? Ganda crush you all. Ninaji went to calm Ganda. That's what provocation is, Sonoto replied then with a sigh. Fu was focused on Uriza. I can almost see through the slim one. I think he may be intangible. Sonoto nervously responded, he isn't intangible. He is moving at speeds an average human can't understand. Take these. They will boost your speed. He handed her 2 scrolls. Fu opened the scrolls, and the word Kiryu formed on her hands. She thanked him. He then asked Yoshi if he noticed what Mizwa was doing. Yoshi answered, she is charging ki for some sort of attack. Sonoto nodded in affirmation. Long ago when Mizwa was an independent kami, a carp jumped up a waterfall, and she turned it into the Ninji Koi, a water dragon that charges torrents of water. I fought it and sealed it. That is how I recognized this technique. Yoshi clapped his hand and spoke to Susanoo, I need to go to that ascended trance right away. Susanoo agreed, and Yoshi used the ring of Tomo. Drums formed and started charging ki. He then began casting each drum off in different directions. Sonoto thought to himself, why would he just throw those away? They are his best method to fight Mizwa. The way that trance works is the drums are the thunder. The sword is the wind and the crown the rain. Shuren finally addressed them. Are you ready? The tournament is about to begin. First, Shernai will fight Ganda. Shernai jumped from his pillar and landed in the arena. Ganda also approached the area. The tournament had begun. This battle would shake the very earth. Shernai versus Ganda. Shuren grinned and let out a hearty laugh. Ninaji was focused on his brother. Ganda looks so small compared to Shernai. But I'm not too worried. Ganda is very strong. Given that he is smaller, he should also be faster. Mari was standing close to Ninaji with a concerned look. She thought to herself, he can't sense ki the way I can. Ganda doesn't even come close to Shernai, power-wise. Shernai looked down at Ganda and taunted him. Too scared to attack me. Puny little human, I'll allow you to run away if you wish. I don't feel like crushing a weakling such as you. Ganda was visibly upset, and shouted, Ganda, weak, little. You will die with a single punch from me. He charged him with a full power punch. When his fist made contact with Shernai's, the entire ground shook. Ninaji watched in horror as Ganda's fist erupted with blood. How is that even possible? Ganda can break swords with his bare hands and turn stone to sand. How is Shernai that sturdy? Mari tried to console him, if he survives, I can heal his hand. He hasn't lost yet. Shernai grabbed his arm and asked, "Is that all you've got? Pathetic. I guess you are just as weak as the rest. You think that was a punch? I'll show you what one feels like." He then picked Gonda up by the arm and tossed him into the air. He balled his colossal fist and punched Gonda's chest as he fell, sending him flying towards the end of the arena. He stomped the ground, and a stone pill rose. Gonda crashed into the base of the pillar, quickly buried under its remains. Ninaji called out to his fallen brother. "Get up, Gonda. You can't die here. You can't lose to him. We are all counting on you. Big brother, I need you." What would mother say? Hearing his brother's calling, Gonda opened his eyes under the rubble. "I must look pretty weak. The runt needs me. They need me. Looks like I need help. San Nin." The rubble and the ground around him were reduced to dust in an instant. Gonda stood on top of the sand, covered by the rock around him. The same sand rock started to join together, forming a giant stone golem. "Shernai. Now you are the puny one. You called that a punch? Let me show you a real one." The golem reeled back and balled its gigantic fist. The earth shook from the force output coming from Gonda's hand. Terrified, Shernai formed a stone dome to protect himself. His efforts were in vain, though, as the dome was rendered to dust, and Shernai disappeared under the punch. The ground cracked under them, shaking and starting to crumble. It was as if a huge earthquake had been localized to that single attack. Shuren announced, "Shernai has been defeated." He turned Shernai's remains into two large stones, Kanabo. He then pressed on. "I need to fix the arena." The next match is Lady Fu versus Uriza. Fu versus Uriza. Fu was hiding the fact that she was terrified of the speed she had witnessed from Uriza. Risei was the only one who noticed she was actually feeling uneasy. He put his hand on her shoulder and whispered, "You have done this before, and unlike me, didn't need any help. You proved on that day you were stronger than any of us. You were the one we looked up to. You are the daughter of Ichiban. Your royalty. As far as I am concerned, you are my queen. You can't lose to a servant such as Uriza." Tears started to bead Fu's lashes, and she playfully tapped his face with her fist. "Idiot, you forgot my most important role as being the wife of Risei Banshiro. With Bankei's, Garuda, and my father's eye, I have the physical ability to beat him. Thanks to you, I have the emotional strength to venture forth with a clear mind free of doubt now. I'll admit I was intimidated by how much Gonda struggled with Shernai, but I forgot he won. I can't be shown up by a giant that can't speak a full sentence without stopping to remember where he is. I have to beat this guy. It's not a matter of whether it is possible. It's simply a matter of how to do it." With her mind focused entirely on the battle ahead, she finally stepped into the arena. She looked up and saw Uriza was still on his pillar and hadn't entered yet. She then moved Garuda to her side and deflected the needle sword. Grabbing Bankei's, she swung directly in front of her. As predicted, she knocked Uriza to the ground. Puzzled, Uriza asked, "How did you know? Can you see the future? What manner of key is this?" Mari laughed and spoke to Ninaji. "I gave Lady Fu the ability to sense ki. I heard her speaking to the old guy in black, so I decided that this was the best way to help. His ki is so massive, no movement will go unnoticed." Ninaji was impressed but said nothing. Mari continued, "If you are too timid to ask for the power to sense ki, how are you ever going to be brave enough to ask me dash?" Ninaji interrupted her. "Will you grant me this power?" Mari smiled in agreement. "Give me your hand." Fu continued to hit Uriza back every time he attacked. Mari was right. All I have to do is sense his movement and counter it. Thanks to Sonoto's ninji, my arms are fast enough. Uriza threw his needle past her and attacked her. Right when she went to counter as she had done before, she felt a sudden pain in her left leg. Distracted, she took a flurry of incredibly fast punches, launching her into the air. TSK. He got wise. He purposely missed so his needle could curve back and wound me. It was the opening he needed. But what is he doing now? Uriza kept wind dashing past her in seemingly random directions. He then laughed. Stupid girl. Falling right into my trap. He appeared beneath her and pulled on the steel wire tethered to his needle, which suddenly bound Fu. Now this wire will chop you into pieces. Fu laughed, unfazed. Actually, this was my trap. Bankei's max density. She dropped her staff as it grew into an enormous pillar, which fell onto Uriza and crushed him down. Fu teleported out of the wire. She stood atop the pillar, victorious. Shuren declared for the victor and sealed Uriza's remains. Ninaji versus Kazan. Exhausted, Fu fell off of the pillar, and Risei immediately teleported to catch her. Shuren announced he would once more repair the arena, then Ninaji would fight Kazan. Ninaji turned to Mari. Thank you for giving me this power. Will you tend to Lady Fu now? I'm sure you have sensed her ki growing faint. Mari nodded and rushed to Fu. The woman had 12 deep cuts from the wire, 3 on each arm and leg. Mari looked at the wounds and sighed in relief. Worry not, milady. I can stop the bleeding and prevent scars from forming. Fu looked at her and replied. No, thank you. Just stopping the bleeding is enough. I earned these scars, and I will keep them. I lost an eye fighting Onika, and Benkei scarred my forehead. Now Uriza cut me many times. These scars are a testament to my struggle. Mari was impressed with her resolve and nodded back, following her instructions. Meanwhile, Ninaji held the Amaterasu close while approaching the arena. I can't lose to him. He continued to chant that as he entered the ring. Kazan entered too from the opposite side and yelled across at Ninaji. Are you ready to die? Ninaji simply responded, I can't lose to you. Kazan, enraged, charged his blade towards Ninaji, who hurled a rock back at him, causing a premature detonation. Ninaji taunted Kazan. Your power is simple, you place ki in the edge of your blade, and it explodes upon contact. You can also throw small explosive orbs. Most of your arsenal is thwarted with simple stones. Hard to believe you wiped out the entire Shoki army with such pathetic skills. Kazan was furious and threw several explosive orbs at him. Take this. You dare talk a god down? Worthless mortal. Ninaji once again threw a handful of stones, which made contact and detonated all of the explosives. Then, he taunted a second time. Don't refer to yourself as a god. You are nothing but a slave. I am the son of the great sun goddess, and I can't lose to you. Kazan was unbelievably upset. Worthless scum. This blow decides your fate. You will die here. He then began pouring massive amounts of ki into his blade. Ninaji smiled. Mother, I need to borrow some of your power. Amaterasu replied, he is pooling a massive amount of ki. If you are caught in the blast, you'll die. Ninaji responded. Sure of himself. He won't even touch me. I just need your power to give me the ability to trance. Amaterasu agreed. Very well, this is in your hands now. Make me proud, son. Ninaji's armor and Naginata became crimson, filled with solar energy. Risei looked on in disbelief. It's like daytime in the ring. What a terrifying trance. I can feel the heat from here. Kazan had learned and charged with the blade facing towards himself. Ninaji waited until he was in striking position. As Kazan extended his arm to strike him down, he warped behind his arm, hitting Kazan's pommel with enough force it sent the blade back at him. Before he flashed away to safety, he taunted once more, I was out of rocks. Kazan exploded, a crater forming where his body has stood just moments before. Shuren sealed him, announcing the end of that match. Kengo versus Zanji. The shogun once more set out to fix the arena so that Kengo could face Zanji. While they waited, Risei asked Kengo if he had a plan. Kengo responded, "My opponent is a fire god with a Norimitsu Odachi longer than Masamune. He has great range and firepower. Not to mention his immortality or his limitless ki. But I have a weapon made out of light, and I am more skilled with the blade. As long as I can flawlessly attack, there is a slim chance. I will say this. If I beat him once, I wish to challenge you for the title of greatest swordsman." Risei laughed. "If you beat him, I'll give it to Dash." Kengo interrupted. "Don't even say that in jest. You received that title from the legendary Jushiro of the Royal Guard. When I come for that title, you must fight as if I am an Oni threatening your family's life. If you want to win, I'll have to be killed." Risei got serious. "Very well, Kengo. Then you can't show any weakness in this battle." Kengo acknowledged him and approached the arena. Zanji stared him down. "I can see you are an aspiring Kenshur. Only a swordsman walks in a sword stance. Those two in black you were standing by are the Jinai brothers, the strongest two Kensei from Miyamoto, are they not? I assume you know who I am, then? Zanji, the god of finesse. The monster of that destroyed Miyamoto, the capital of human swordsmanship. I didn't join VT to avenge my father, nor to assist my sensei. I didn't join for a chance to duel the current Kenshur. I joined to avenge Miyamoto. The Kensei all respected and worshipped you. You inspired the standard use of the katana. Miyamoto worshipped you as a supreme kami, and you killed them all. My path to Kenshur requires you to be defeated. Your speed is blinding. Your fire can turn my flesh to ash. Your blade wouldn't struggle against my bones. Your skill is legendary, and you are basically the god of swordsmanship. In 99 of 100 duels, you could kill me in a single attack. So, this needs to be that 1 in 100. With every step, I get closer to you." Zanji snarked. "Pathetic human, you talk far too much. I slew all 18 Kensei at the same time, you'll never overcome me." Kengo calmly activated Hikari and tranced into a light swordsman. Zanji ran at him, swinging his long blade faster than the human eye could ever track. Every time his sword touched the ground, it reduced the soil to ash just with the heat of the blade. Sonoto remarked, "Zanji is slashing approximately 100 times a second. Besides that, as he swings that fast, he makes a perimeter of 360 degrees around himself, reducing everything around him to ash." Even with the eyes of Ichiban, Kengo couldn't find an opening. Why is he slowly stepping towards him? 2 hands on his sword. He needs inhuman speed to stand a chance. But he is far too slow. He will be reduced to atoms at that speed. Kengo pressed on with a slow pace, and Zanji continued to maintain his speed. As soon as Kengo entered his perimeter, he appeared to have vanished, probably reduced to ash. Shuren announced, "The winner is." However, Kengo reappeared behind Zanji's perimeter. Zanji laughed. "I must congratulate you on somehow surviving. But the number of wounds you must have." That was the last thing he said before falling to pieces. Mizuwa versus Yoshi. Nobody could believe what had just happened. Even Shuren was at a loss. Kengo decided to explain. "It's simpler than it looks. I used Hikari to move at light speed and avoid his attacks. Then hit his openings, which he was not concerned about in the slightest. Too much pride can kill you." Shuren declared Kengo the winner and instructed Mizuwa and Yoshi to get ready for battle after repairing the arena. Kengo walked towards Yoshi. "Your opponent is up to something. She hasn't moved this entire tournament." Yoshi acknowledged him. "Yeah. She is charging a massive attack. That's why I'm still in a trance. She's definitely dangerous, but I don't think she's ready for this. Yoshi then casually walked into the arena. Mizwa jumped into the ring after him. I'm happy I get to fight the small one. You are the one who enslaved my little brother Tsunami, right? Yoshi answered, no. That was my big brother, Daisuyo Amana. This kunai is the blade that trapped him. If you want it, all you have to do is beat me. But considering how badly my teammates have beaten yours, I don't think you can. Tsunami attacked Amana when I was young, and my parents sacrificed themselves to save the city. My brother and I trained to become stronger. We thought the gods were unstoppable monsters. We were wrong. Risei, Fu, my brother and myself have proved a single human can defeat a god. You 6 samurai are supposed to a higher tier than the rest, but you further prove my point. You should be worshipping me. After I beat you, I'll be taking down your master, too, then Onikage. You can't stop us now that we are the strongest we have ever been. Every time we beat one of you, we just get stronger, so how about a prayer? Mizwa was furious at Yoshi's insouciance. She clapped her arms together and created 2 raging waves. Mari raised a wide barrier to stop the water from crushing into VT. The water pounded the 6 pillars and the shrine's throne. Shuren then rose an even larger pillar from the ground and summoned Kajiki to it as well. Meanwhile, Yoshi hadn't flinched. He created a sphere of wind around himself that the water went around. After that relentless assault, Mizwa had naively exhausted all of her ki already. Yoshi laughed and closed his right hand. So, I'm just going to say it. This fight was rigged from the start. You started charging a massive attack at the beginning of the tournament. You knew we would be in the semifinals. So you wanted a massive, impossible attack. However, I noticed right away. I bet you haven't noticed my right hand has been suspiciously open this entire time. Before the tournament began, I threw my tomo drums all around the ring. All waiting for this exact moment. Now I have 5 drumming gods. Reidama. The 5 drums formed a perimeter around Mizwa and began discharging a massive electrical energy amount, which instantly fried her down. Risei versus Kajiki. Shuren declared Yoshi the victor and told Risei and Kajiki to approach the arena. Yoshi teased Risei, asking him not to mess up their streak. The Jinai brothers wished him luck and reminded him that he beat them in the Royal Guard exam. Mari reminded him that his praise was spread across the land. Kengo told him, I won my battle, so now you have to win yours. Ninaji, too, encouraged him. You know. When Mother heard you beat Orochi alone, she had the messenger killed. That's how I know she was scared of you. Gonda approached him, patting him on the back. Risei, strong. But, not stronger than, Gonda. Fu hugged him and didn't say anything, for she knew there was no need to. Thank you, Fu. Your silence spoke the most to me. I have nothing to worry about. You have full trust in my ability to beat him, he whispered into her ear. She smiled and said, now we're even. I'll be watching close. Risei approached Kajiki. Kajiki taunted him. You've only one eye. Don't you know I'm the greatest of the 6? Risei answered, I could beat you without any eyes and with one arm tied behind my back. Kajiki yelled, tough talk from a human with only 2. The 2 clashed swords evenly until eventually, Risei landed a clean slash on Kajiki's shoulder. Fu watched on and remembered having witnessed the exam from afar. Father, why do you display such an interest in him? He's probably the weakest man in attendance. He has no ki abilities nor any ki control. Without ki to amp his ability, he will surely come in last again. Look over there. The tall, bulky one can fly and use water spells, and he's fast and strong. He was part of the demonstration 6 months ago. I think he will place in the top. Ichiban had laughed and had simply replied, "Risei trains many hours every day because he lacks strength. Daisuyo doesn't train because of his natural ability. If you judge solely on one's power and speed, you will find a good guard, but not a loyal 1-inch." Fu had looked frustrated with her father. He has already failed twice. Not only, but he was also clearly the worst candidate both years. Ichiban had laughed once more. And yet here he is again, no key control or key abilities. Slower, weaker, and clumsier than every other contender. But he has heart and a goal. I admire that boy and wish I was that strong. Just wait. One day he will even surpass us and will be remembered as the greatest man to ever live. Fu, with tears in her eyes, talked to his image in her mind. I called you a madman, but it looks like you were right. Kajiki screamed in anger and grew 4 additional arms with swords. Risei entered his trance and grew 2 extra snake arms, unsheathing a mana and Shursui. Teleporting to Kajiki, he clashed blades with him. Risei was at a clear disadvantage, as Kajiki had 2 more swords and started landing gruesome blows. A cut to the right arm, 1 to the left leg. 1 cut his right cheek and top lip. Finally, he got a sword run through his back and out his side. Kajiki removed the sword and stepped back. Risei fell on his knees. He was losing a lot of blood and quickly. His head hit the ground while he was still kneeling. Fu's face went from cheerfully to horrified. She could see the hope of V.T waver as their leader lay bleeding out. A power beyond trance. A familiar serpent voice could be heard. Snake Eater, Snake Eater. Is this how it ends? You defeated the mighty Orochi and died to the slave, Kajiki? Here I thought those people calling your name meant something. They can't beat Shuren without you. Risei looked at the swords in his hands, covered in a pool of his blood. Orochi? Orochi responded, "Yes, it's me, you idiot. Now look, you have 2 options left. Give up and die, dooming your friends to perish here as well, or let me help you once more. Remember the moon? I can give you that power again and heal your wounds. If you can't beat him, then I will gladly watch your friends die." Risei, without thinking twice, grabbed tight to Orochi and screamed, "Grant me the power to ascend trance and defeat our enemy." Steam covered his wounds as they healed. His teeth became sharp, his skin was covered in scales, and from his back, 8 snake heads protruded, turning into hands. The giant snake fangs acted as swords. Kajiki charged, flailing his swords wildly. Orochi Risei, with a combination of tactful slashes, severed all of Kajiki's arms. Kajiki was terrified of this new power and unable to foresee his victory any longer. He kneeled to Orochi Risei, admitting defeat at last. Shuren furiously sealed the worthless Kajiki and declared Risei the winner. Risei reverted to his base form, and VT went to congratulate him. Shuren lay the 6 samurai's weapons in front of himself. As he placed a new contract on each, Mari came to heal Risei's wounds, only to find him with no damage. He's simply exhausted, no scars or cuts, amazing. Fu playfully tapped him with her fist. You did it, you idiot. I'm so proud of you. Yoshi commented instead, you almost died, you idiot, don't scare Lady Fu like that. Can you show how you managed that form? It would be pretty crazy to improve on Susanoo-OS trance. Shuren began laughing boisterously suddenly, and everyone turned to look at him. He was absorbing the energy of all 6 samurai. Fools, you fulfilled the contract. Now I am the strongest in existence. Tremble in fear of my power. You will now face me. Once I am done killing you lot, I'll absorb your Onika as well. Then my lesser and I will become a new Koto Amatsukami. The force emanating off of him started to crumble his pillar. The final battle of this legendary earth-shaking tournament was about to begin. VT versus Shogun Shuren. Ninaji looked at Mari and begged. Please, stay out of this fight. I don't want you to die. I can sense his power, and I know you can too. Please only support us from afar. Mari nodded and agreed to move back. Shuren yelled, 1 minute until I erase you with my unstoppable power. Rise yelled back, well, thank you, please keep the periodic updates coming. This upset the shogun long enough to interrupt his merger, and Yoshi was impressed. I can't believe that worked. He sure loses his temper easily. Rise grabbed Fu and Yoshi by the hand. We have to take this opportunity and take him down before he can reach full power. Fu and Yoshi went into a trance. Rise spoke to Orochi. Orochi, please grant me that form once more. Orochi responded, foolish recklessness, snake eater, your body can't handle that transformation twice in a day, let alone twice in an hour. However, Rise interrupted him. We don't have time for that now. Orochi relented, very well, but when it rips your body apart, I don't want to hear it. With that, he entered his ascended trance. Orochi, Rise, Fu, and Yoshi teleported to Shuren. Fu and Yoshi delivered powerful wind attacks to both of Shuren's flanks, leaving him wide open for Rise to finish it. Rise lunged at the shogun with 10 blades at the ready. However, before his attack could finish, he crashed to the ground and began to scream in pain. His trance had run out, and his body was now broken. Shuren seized his opportunity and punched Fu in her face, breaking her nose and knocking her unconscious. He then grabbed Yoshi and slapped him in the stomach with his armored knee. The spike on his knee pierced Yoshi's belly, and the force knocked the wind from him. He then continued to absorb the 6. Kengo, Yukio, and Sakio charged him. The 3 of them were knocked out by Shuren. Shuren had finished his transformation. The force of his mutation sent the defeated flying. Ninigi and Gonda charged at once. Gonda was defeated with a single slap, and Ninigi was electrified before being sent into a stone pillar. Mari then threw a card at him. He froze. The card read, Jubayo. She stated, Zwa-sensei, I am sorry for using your trump card so early. Guys, he is frozen for 1 minute. Make it count. Sonoto winched and looked at 2 tags on his shoulders. Vengeance team, we need a hero to stand. I need to distract him for 5 minutes. The swordsman trio staggered but rose. Sonoto pulled those tags off. To have to resort to this so early on. Shogun Showdown. The tags hit the ground, and 2 men dressed similarly to Sonoto appeared. Hanzo, Kotaro. It's time to use that seal. The 2 ninjas nodded and awaited instructions. Only 30 seconds remaining. I'm sorry, but I need him distracted while I prepare this seal. It's our only chance. Kengo stood tall, if it's a hero you need. He was interrupted by a blunt force blow to the back of the head from Bufu's sheath. Yukio and Sakio stood over him. We are sorry, young one, but this is our destiny, not yours. This isn't a heroic road you return from. You are the future of Miyamoto. Our duty as the last Kensei is to protect the future of Miyamoto. For this, we pledge our lives. Are you ready, brother? Bufu, Hokage, grant us the power to protect our allies. We offer our lives as tribute. Yukio's skin grew pale as ice. Crystals formed around him. Sakio's skin started to glow as if made of hot lava. They had achieved dual overdrive. Just as Shuren began to regain his mobility, a wave of absolute zero slowed his movement. Then a fireball sent him flying backward. Sonoto remarked, those 2 are legendary. I only hope it's enough. Hanzo, bring me the little one with the chains. Kotaro, bring the woman tending wounds here. This plan has to work fast. He then grabbed a scroll labeled Clones, and exclaimed, Kagebushin, 9 clones, 10% each. 9 copies of himself appeared. Sonoto fell on one knee. Hanzo arrived with Yoshi. Grandmaster. Sonoto winded and told him, I had to use 90% of my ki. It's all part of my plan. Worry not. Kotaro and Mari arrived as well. Sonoto explained his plan. Kotaro, summon all of the corpse ninjas. Kotaro interrupted, all of them? Master, there are 69. Sonoto interrupted him, I know how many, I need them all. Mari, I need Yoshi's eye again. No time to wake him. Hanzo, take the Grandmaster scroll and spread it out. I've already started the seal, so I can never again use my arms anymore. I'll need you two to be my arms. Mari began the transplant, while Hanzo and Kotaro started to bring his plans to fruition. Once the eye was in his sockets, he had his clones pour ki into each ninja. Hanzo was amazed. Grandmaster is seriously going to control 70 bodies at once. Each ninja grabbed a ninja from the Grandmaster scroll. The Jinai brothers were reaching their limit. One more attack, brother. It's been only 3 minutes. Sakio pulled his remaining ki to his right fist and unleashed a massive fire fist that punched a hole in Shuren, melting his armor. Sakio's arm turned to ash right after. That was it for me, brother. Sonoto, seeing his plans come together, yelled, 2 minutes. It's almost ready. Yukio seized his opportunity and, using the last of his ki, managed to completely freeze Shuren. That should hold him for a minute. Looks like we were 1 minute away. Yukio's arms frosted over and crumbled. Yukio and Sakio used their last bit of strength to reach Kengo, who had just started to regain consciousness as his teachers approached him. They stood proud and declared, our time has passed. We have done our best to secure the future of Miyamoto and the art of the blade. Let our last act as the final Kensei be naming our precious student Kengo Iwata as Kensei. Kengo, be good. Surpass us and all who came before. They looked at each other, and Yukio said, brother, I don't think the future of swordsmanship has ever looked brighter. Yukio's body started to frost over before finally shattering. Sakio smiled and said, indeed, brother. I just wished we could have seen him become Kensher. Sakio's body then turned to ash and blew away. Kengo resolved and thought to himself, a Kensei shouldn't mourn such stupendous masters passing in such a heroic manner. I was truly gifted to learn from them. I will become the Kensher and rebuild Miyamoto. Everyone in the land will know the glory of the sword. Sonoto had nearly finished his seal when Shuren began moving again. TSK, he just won't stay down now. Only a minute remaining. The two ninjas bombarded Shuren with a veritable plethora of spells from their respective ninja. Fu stood up and started aiming a powerful gas toward Shuren. Yoshi couldn't stand but contributed with a powerful water dragon. Ninaji threw a massive fireball. Everyone worked hard to push Shuren back. Shuren regained his footing rather quickly, however, and with a powerful clap, ended their assault. The shock wave knocked everyone back. Sonoto didn't lose his ground, though, nor undo his hands. The ninja all rose back up, and from each of their fingers, threads of ki shot towards Shuren, immobilizing him. What is this? The shogun complained. Sonoto walked closer. My second most powerful seal. It can stop any ki using my own. The downside is the ki used is lost forever. But these ninjas are already dead. They are made of your samurai's victims. Consider this a form of vengeance. Shuren was confused. Second strongest? Sonoto answered, I'm glad you asked. Yes, the string seal is a high risk, high reward. However, it has nothing on the soul chain. There are 6 key centers in the human body, the head, heart, arms, and legs. If someone uses the chain seal, they will transform those key centers into immensely powerful seals. However, they would lose that body part forever. Luckily for us, I'm an old man. I barely need arms anymore, and I've been turning the bones in my arms to a powerful seal this entire time. Realizing his downfall was nearing, Shuren pleaded with Sonoto, no. It can't be. If you desist now, I'll give you anything you desire. Sonoto stopped approaching at once. Anything I desire. Very well. I want a world where humans don't have to live in fear of Onika. Sonoto outstretched his arms and yelled, Great Chain Seal. From his wrists, chains emerged, bounding Shuren. He yelled to Risei, who had just stumbled onto his feet. Right on time. Now. Use the great sword, Risei. Risei teleported behind Shuren and impaled him with the great sword. The two remaining clones of Sonoto grabbed and ripped the chains from Sonoto's arms. They ran to Risei and wrapped the chains around the great sword. After that, they completed the seal. As Shuren disappeared into the great sword, he shouted into the wind. I shall return.